You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Welcome everybody. It's my honor to welcome you to the Branford Fire Department. My name is Tom Mahoney. I'm the fire chief. It is my pleasure to lead the organization under the guidance of our Board of Fire Commissioners led by Chairman Robert Massey, Commissioner Catherine Fox, Commissioner Don Conklin, Commissioner Paul Riccio, and Commissioner Jack Ahern. And joining us here is Commissioner David LaCroix. So the Honorable Board of Fire Commissioners. Also with us tonight is our first selectman, James Cosgrove. Jamie would like to come up and say a few words of welcome.
Thank you, Chief. It's a great honor to be here tonight for this promotional ceremony. Just on behalf of the town, I want to thank each and every one of you, not only those that are being promoted today, but those who serve our great town in the capacity that you do. Each and every one of you provide a critical role in the health and safety of our community. It's often rewarding to, every once in a while, I get a copied on an email about the great work that our firefighters, our paramedics, and our EMT do, and the appreciation that is from the community. And oftentimes it's on a particular, response to an issue. But that's just a small bit of the appreciation that this community has for what you do. And I just want you to know that you have the support of the community. And I think that shows what we have accomplished through the leadership of the commission and the chief and the assistant chief. So once again, on behalf of the town, it's a great honor to be here tonight. And congratulations to each of those that are being promoted. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Cosgrove. So again, welcome family, friends, fellow firefighters, fellow officers. If you could all please now rise as the New Haven County Firefighters Emerald Society pipes in the national colors and our candidates for tonight's swearing in. Thank you very much, New Haven County Firefighters Emerald Society Band. Okay, at this time this is a Board of Fire Commissioners official meeting tonight, so I'd like to invite Commissioner Massey to come up and officially open the meeting for us.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight, Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025, on this special occasion. We haven't had a fire commission meeting like this, as the commissioners would probably tell you, in years to have so many people here in attendance, so we appreciate that. Thank you. but officially open the meeting, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So thank you all for attending on this special night tonight. The last time we did something this big, Chief, if I'm wrong, it was 2018? 2018 to have so many new hires. So welcome everyone. The meeting's officially open. Thank you.
Okay, and Commissioner, the first order of business is the swearing in of the our new captains. We have 5 promotions. This is as the chairman mentioned, this is kind of a historic time for us. We just underwent a large expansion of our service, and when it's entered into a different deployment model where we're staffing more than one station with career firefighters. We hired 16 new EMTs. With that came the promotion of 4 new captains and then 1 captain to replace retired Captain Joseph Petrosino. So if I could have the captains come up, the chairman of the commission will administer the oath, at which point I'm going to introduce my assistant chief, Brian Kozak, will say a few words about each candidate, and the family member can come and pin the badge at that time. Please be seated, everybody.
Solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the full duties as a fire officer, that I will respect and honor the rules and regulations of the Branford Fire Department, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will act with all haste in answering alarms, to obey implicitly the orders of my superiors, to always conduct myself in a manner to gain a credit to myself and to the department, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd first like to introduce John Kujma. John, why don't you come over to the right of the podium? John's wife, Christina, is going to pin the badge on Captain Kujma. John Kujma was newly promoted to captain with nearly 15 years of dedicated service, including several years as a volunteer before becoming a full-time firefighter. Outside of work, John enjoys spending quality time with his wife, Christina, and their 2 children, Zoe and John. Next, Joseph Massey. Joe's girlfriend, Emma Grace, will be pinning the badge. Joseph Massey was hired by the Branford Fire Department in 2013, having served as a volunteer in town since 2008. A born and raised Branford resident, he has been an active member of the training division and has proudly served as drill master for the past 6 years. Passionate about growth and innovation, Joe looks forward to contributing to the continued success and progress of the department. Next, Joseph Maul and his girlfriend Amy and sons Nate and Dylan will be administering the badge. Joseph Mall began his career as a volunteer with the Shelton Fire Department in 1994. He also worked as a paramedic in Bridgeport and Stratford before joining the Branford Fire Department in 2006. Joe has earned multiple certifications, including Fire Officer 3, Fire Instructor 3, and many technical certifications. Joe enjoys traveling with his girlfriend Amy and his two sons, Nathan and Dylan. Joe enjoys making frequent trips to Florida, Disney being a top spot. Next, Mackenzie Spooner, and her sons Evan and Ian will be pinning the badge. Mackenzie Spooner was hired in 2018. She was awarded a unit citation for life-saving measures during a cardiac arrest in 2022 and again in 2024. She received a commendation for her ongoing efforts to enhance the safety and well-being of the department. She recently became a member of the Guilford Regional Dive Team. Today, she's honored to be pinned by her sons, Evan and Ian. Next, Mark Testa and his fiancee, Diana, will be pinning the badge. Mark Testa is a 20-year firefighter and newly appointed captain at the Branford Fire Department. He is passionate about the fire service and his new leadership position. In his spare time, he likes to work out, travel, and spend time with his family. He continually strives to help teach and mentor the younger members of the department. Great. Yep. Next, we'd like to call up firefighter paramedic Eric Oskovich and Paulina Smeva.
Commissioner.
Oath of the firefighter. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge my full duty as a firefighter, that I will respect and honor the rules and regulations of the Branford Fire Department, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will act with all haste in answering alarms, to obey the implicity of the orders of my superiors, and to always conduct myself in a manner to being a credit to myself and to the department, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations.
All right, first Eric Oskovich, his wife Michaela will be pinning the badge. The Branford Fire Department welcomes Eric Oskovich as a full-time firefighter paramedic. Eric is a lateral hire with 7 years experience with the Allentown Fire Department of West Haven. We wish him the best in his future career at the Branford Fire Department. Next, Paulina Smaga and her father, Mark, will be pinning the badge. Hello again. We also welcome Paulina Smaga as a full-time firefighter paramedic. Paulina is a lateral hire with 2.5 years of experience with the Ridgefield Fire Department and as a paramedic in the Danbury and Bridgeport area. We wish her the best in her future career at the Branford Fire Department. So both Eric and Paulina have been with us for several months, and they have fallen right in. They step up, and they've been a great contribution to the department. Congratulations. And next, the big group. Would all the new full-time EMS staff please step forward?
You can raise your right hand. The oath of a Branford Emergency Medical Responder, Branford Fire Department. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge my full duty as an EMS responder, that I will respect and honor the rules and regulations of the Branford Fire Department, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will act with all haste in answering alarms, to obey the implicitly the orders of my superiors, and to always conduct myself in a manner to being a credit to myself and to the department. That I take obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Congratulations. Now we'll go to the other right.
All right, there's not a lot of real estate up here, so I think you come to the front when I call your name. First off, Isaiah Albert. And Isaiah's father, Chief Albert from Middletown Fire Department, will pin the badge. Isaiah Albert has a background in emergency services. He was a firefighter EMT for the Westfield Fire Department. In his free time, he enjoys walks with his 1-year-old German Shepherd, powerlifting, and jiu-jitsu. Next will be Elizabeth Jade Anderson, and her husband Nick will pin the badge. Jade enjoys running 5Ks through town, cooking, and spending time with her church community. In the summertime, she enjoys hiking, swimming, and in the winter, she snowboards as much as she can. Next is Nicholas Antonucci, and his girlfriend Isabel will be administering the badge. Nick has worked in EMS for 14 years. In his free time, Nick likes to spend time with his friends and trying new restaurants. Something I can get behind. Next is Courtney Barnes, and her daughter McKenna will be pinning the badge. That's awesome. Courtney has been a part-time paramedic for the Branford Fire Department for the past 6 years and has been promoted to full-time paramedic. And due to previous travel plans, Jeremiah Brown would also be here tonight, but was unable to. But he became a full-time member after serving part-time with the Branford Fire Department for 4 years. So we miss him tonight. Next is Robert Connors, and his wife Katie and son Aiden will be pinning the badge. Robert has worked in EMS for many years. He has a large extended family, 10 to 40 people, that he travels with year-round. Next is Patrick Cunningham, and his mother Kathy will be pinning the badge. Patrick holds 2 bachelor degrees, one in emergency management and homeland security, and the other in criminal justice. He is an avid hockey fan and follows the New York Rangers and post-university Eagles, where he played for 3 years. Next is Jessica Ebersol, and her husband Tom is going to pin the badge. Jess has been a part-time paramedic for the Branford Fire Department for the past 4 years, and she was recently promoted to full-time paramedic. Next is Chastity Hanlon, and her wife Diane is going to pin the badge. How are you? Good. Chastity is currently taking online courses to further her education. Outside of work, she has a passion for music, music production, and DJing.
That's so crooked.
Next is Tyler Imperato, and his father, Bob, is going to be pinning the badge. Tyler obtained his EMT license through Hunter's Ambulance. He loves to watch hockey and football, as well as skate in the winter. In the summer, he enjoys fishing and being outside. Next is Amelia Iliano and her wife Carly and daughter Evelyn in the badge.
If Evelyn allows. She's a little feisty right now.
I hear it.
Hey.
Amelia enjoys spending time with her wife and their one-year-old daughter. Her favorite team to watch is the New York Yankees, yet she's still recovering from the World Series. Next is Michael Morris, and his father, Bob, will be pinning the badge. Michael's been an EMT for about 13 years. He enjoys hockey, football, and playing video games. Next is Jeremiah Palmisano, and his father, William, will be pinning the badge. Jeremiah is an EMT with aspirations to attend paramedic school soon. He is also experienced as a critical care nurse. Outside of work, Jeremiah likes to spend time with his dog, Zeus, and his family. Next is Andrew Seward, and Chief William Seward will be pinning the badge. Andrew has been involved with public safety since he was 15 years old. Outside of work, he supports his daughter's gymnastics lifestyle, competing around the tri-state area. Next up is Josue Vega, and his father, Lieutenant Josue Vega Jr., will be pinning the badge. Josue lives in New Haven and is the oldest of 5 siblings. In his spare time, he enjoys playing rugby and currently plays for the Hartford Wanderers. And last but not least, Sarah Ziemba, and her father, Tom, will pin the badge. Sarah is attending school in Hartford for her paramedic certification. She enjoys the winter weather and ice skating. Congratulations to all of you. Everyone's been here for a little bit over a month, and they've been awesome so far. It's been a big change for us, and they've really helped make it happen. So, thank you.
Congratulations to all of our fire officers, firefighters, and EMTs. Welcome, and I wish you a happy and healthy, successful career. Okay. At this time, we have one more special event tonight. We're going to invite Commissioner Jack Ahern up and Chairman Massey to dedicate the Madeline Buzz Clem Commissioner's Room, and he'll invite the family up tonight. We have. Yeah, we're gonna. You guys can take a seat. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. The Branford Fire Department's always been probably one of the most progressive fire departments, at least on the shoreline, if not Connecticut. And some time ago, I think that the chiefs and the officers in this room from other departments can probably attest to how hard it is to hire more people within your fire department. Some time ago, the chief came to us and said he had a plan. And he said he was going to hire 16 more people. And we kind of laughed. But he did it. And he did it with the help of a commissioner that can't be here tonight because she passed away in May? In May. She was 110% behind the chief's vision. She never said it can't be done. She supported the chief right through everything. Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight to see the 16 people that she basically hired actually take the oath of a firefighter. So I'm talking about, as the chief said, Madeline Buzz Clem. And tonight we're going to dedicate the commissioner's room upstairs to her, and we have a plaque in honor of her. So last May we lost Commissioner Madeline Buzz Clem, whose dedication and service to our community spanned more than 30 years. Commissioner Clem was the department's longest serving commissioner and exemplified an unwavering commitment to the Branford Fire Department and keeping its members safe. Buzz was also one of the most involved commissioners. She could often be found visiting the guys and gals, as she called them, working in the gardens around the building. Commissioner Clem's legacy of service and compassion will continue to inspire all who enter this space. The Madeline Buzz Clem Commissioner's Room serves as a lasting tribute to her profound impact on the department and the community she served so selfishly. We miss her, but every time we walk into that room and anytime anybody walks by that room, they'll be reminded of the great things she did serving the town. So, Commissioner Massey.
On behalf of the Board of Fire Commissioners and the Branford Fire Department, I want to dedicate the Madeline Buzz Clem Commissioner's Room, honor her 34 years of service, May 1st, 1990 to May 24th, 2024. We miss her so much, I have to tell you that. And I miss that number showing up on my phone. I know it by heart. She would always say, call me back, 481-9455. And that's been going on for 34 years, I have to be honest. Buzz and I go way back, so like the Commissioner said, the chief here, she was really dedicated to the town of Branford and the firefighters. Volunteer career. It didn't matter. She was here all the time for us, and we deeply miss her. And I can tell you what, I don't even want to ask about the house, well, the paperwork that she had, but she had every piece of paperwork that we ever needed that went back even before 1990. And Buzz, I know you're looking down at us from heaven, and you're going to make sure that Mayor Cosgrove builds that one last fire station for us, because you've been involved in the last two with me, so we need one more to make a tree. All right? But on behalf of the Commissioner, thank you. We're going to be putting this on tonight.
Before we conclude, I'd just like to say to the families and friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your firefighters, your EMTs, your fire officers. They're going to need your guidance, your support. You help them, you carry them. We appreciate you. And this has just been a great night, and I appreciate everybody being here. Again, thank you to the Emerald Society Band. Always makes our ceremonies more festive and meaningful, and we appreciate their support as well. And to all the members of the Branford Fire Department, thank you very much for your support. The Board of Fire Commissioners, myself and Assistant Chief Kozak have some business to attend to upstairs. You're welcome to stay for coffee and cake. And again, I'd just like to thank you, and this concludes our ceremony for tonight. If I could just have all of the EMTs, officers, and firefighters up here, we're going to take a group shot of you before you run off. Okay? There is coffee and cake in the day room, so thank you again for being here. Appreciate you.
Okay, we're going to move on right now to committee reports. Going first for personnel, we have one vacancy due to a retirement. The 16 new full-time EMTs, as we all know, have started on November 18th, and they were all sworn in tonight. So, and everything is going really good. I mean, I've been around, I think, because I was monitoring all the calls, and it's working really good out, Chiefs. So I'm going to say thank you to you and all your whole crew on that.
Thank you.
And we're currently interviewing part-time EMTs and paramedics. But I want to say the system is, knock on wood, it's working, so Branford should be proud of what they have, so.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should know that Station 9 in the next section of town is staffed with an ambulance, that's Medic 1. There's 2 on it. Could be a paramedic and an EMT, or it could be paramedics. Chief can tell me a little better than that. And then Engine 1 has 3 firefighter paramedics on it.
Yep,
also.
and so, as our goal of trying to cover the town within a 4-minute response for the initial arriving unit, whether it's a medical emergency or fire, that was the second phase of the plan. The third phase, obviously, is the cover the east end of town, which is our longest response. But it proved its worth. We had a fire on Limewood in the condominiums. It was a kitchen fire that was contained to the kitchen. We were there with under 4 minutes. Fire was extinguished. Had we had to wait for the headquarters engine to get there, I think people don't understand how fast fire spreads. It's exponential in its growth, and we would have had fire blowing out all 3 floors in the time it would have taken to get there. That's how aggressive that fire was. So it's proved its worth, not only in that fire, but in first responders to medical emergencies, and just having the added staff because we are just that busy. So it's been great, and we appreciate the support of the town.
Yeah, I would just want to add to that, Chief. It was a good feeling that night because I was right behind Engine 9 and them getting there and the 2 going in, and there was a volunteer that jumped on the truck too, also was helping. So
Nice.
They made the hydrant and it was really good, and the way everything's set up. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was good. Yep. Finance Commissioner Riccio.
I have no transfers. If I look in Chief's report, he just reported that we are now 70% spent or encumbered on the repairs and maintenance and medical supply accounts, and that's due to what, Chief? What?
Well, the EMS is the volume of calls that we're doing, and certainly the increase in pricing of everything that we're purchasing. So,
Right.
we've seen increases in pricing for apparatus up to 40% over the last 3 years, 4 years. And as I think everybody can appreciate, going to the grocery store, things cost a lot. So that's the impact on the medical supply, but our volume is up. So that's another thing. And then I'd just also like to say, that the apparatus repair budget, we have an aging fleet. We have a plan to address it. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but a repair, for instance, recently, the head gasket from engine 2, which is a 28-year-old piece of apparatus, cost $10,000 to replace. So that's just one repair, right?
Yeah.
So,
But I think we're going to be good. But
no,
financially.
we'll be fine. But it's good news that, well, the call volume is up, so that's the only reason why we're 70%.
Yeah, and I think we could also all agree that we didn't really go and spend money. We've been trying to nurture, we're trying to put boots
Yep.
on the ground, and which we've done, and we're not buying apparatus to go sit in firehouses. So unfortunately, now it's as Commissioner LaCroix will bring up, it's 3 years to get a truck now, so, and the
Right.
expense of it. So,
Okay.
I'll move on to training. Commissioner Hurt.
Thank you, sir. Seems to be like it's a paramedic month. So the paramedics are doing their mandatory paramedic skills, including continuing medical education classes and advanced medical life support. So just so the public knows, this is ongoing. Like, it's 16 hours of required National Registry education hours. So it's a lot. And not only do they have to go to class, but then their shifts have to be covered. So there's overtime involved, which of course we have to spend money on. But they're also required to do this, and they're highly trained individuals who, on a daily basis, or the chief is getting, as the first selectman said tonight, we get kudos from people that have been transported, from lives that have been saved, and from calls that just have gone in a very good manner. They're also going to do the whole department will be doing some ice rescue and forcible entry. Good time to do ice rescue since we actually have ice this year.
Yeah.
Annual OSHA training is going to be going on, and annual physicals. And they must be completed by March. Other than that, Chief, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. It's like you mentioned, an ongoing process, and They actually have to do 30 hours on average a year in continuing medical education, some of which is covered via the overtime account or the extra work account, we like to say, because they don't always earn time and a half for overtime. But what we can do online on shift, they we cover a portion of the on that there too, but it's just not the same as a hands-on class environment.
Excellent.
Okay, good, thank you. Apparatus, Commissioner LaCroix.
So presently completed fiscal year to date 2025, there's been 69 work orders that have been completed. Pending work orders presently there's 49 of them, and in repairs in progress there is 27. I am going to touch on this report here. I'm going to be, during the next commission meeting, I'm going to be going through a much more extensive, more granular report of the apparatus, comparing timeframes, et cetera. So for tonight, I'm going to go over sort of a high level of where we're presently at right now. So truck 1, out of service, the aerial needs to be rebuilt. It's a $12,000 job. Engine 2 is also out of service with a bad head gasket. That's a $10,000 job. The engine 1 fuel tank leak is being completed in-house. A new ambulance is on order. Estimated time is May of 25. New engine 1 is on order. Estimated delivery of December of 25. A new engine 9 is on order. Estimated 3 years. And so I'm gonna touch on that sort of thing when I do a more granular report for this meeting. Okay. All of the regulatory inspections on large apparatus equipment has been completed. The Medic 2 remount on a new chassis is completed, and this unit is now in service. Tac 6 was fitted to accept our existing sander and plow carriage for winter operations. The sander was swapped earlier this spring with the original brush fire skid unit. Much of this work was completed in-house, and this allows Tac 6 to be a multi-purpose vehicle depending on season, maximizing it as an asset. That's all I have, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to buildings, Commissioner Conklin.
Continuing to be pretty much out of pocket, but as you came into the station tonight, you probably saw a lot of parking spaces taken up, and especially if you can buy Canoe Brook, there are
Police cars.
police cars because this building is now being shared while the police station gets renovated. The training room, the main training room is gone. I don't know if anyone's using it yet, but the patrol group from the police station are on site, and so will their cars as they come and go from work. Which is why I wondered when I drove by Laurel Street why that lot was much more empty than I remember.
Yeah.
I will say in my couple of months of trying to learn what's going on, that my email gets full of every little job, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to react to those emails, but it is. I have put them into a file, and I do watch those that seem to be dragging, because even though I still have personal contacts with a couple of department heads that I can ask, and they won't be yelling at me or wondering who is this guy. And the other is First Due has been eye-opening for me with just the type of calls that you guys do. And in my short time, I'm learning which addresses. I know what's going on when I see that address pop up. So.
Yep.
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
The temporary fix, engine 9 for communications, is there a plan for a?
Yes, so it's in the capital improvement plan coming
Okay.
up. We're estimating, what did I say in here, for station alerting, about $60,000 to cover both headquarters and Station 9, and it would be a system that we could expand eventually out to Acorn Road. We've gotten pricing from 3 different vendors at this point, but it would be a capital improvement. So what we're doing to address it right now is through a suggestion of Commissioner Ahern, who's other world outside of here, is radio communications. We were able to utilize some of our digital volunteer pagers in amplifier bases, and that seems to be working. We haven't missed a call. And we got more than one for the redundancy, but it needs to be more of a permanent solution to to meet the standards. So.
When this gets approved, your expenditure for the communication systems, are you going to buy enough equipment that it will cover the east side of town?
No,
or are you
no, but
wait?
it will be compatible with. So
Can add on to.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to buy it now because things could change.
Configurations and stuff.
And we don't know exactly what we need until we have a drawings and that kind of thing. So crawl, walk, run.
Chief, do you think it's going to take until July 1st to do that? To get this committee to have that report done?
No, I think the committee is leaning toward. We have 2 systems, and I think what it's going to come down to is which vendor we feel more comfortable with, and that we feel our CAD vendor can work more collaboratively with, although they are all compatible with our CAD, our computer-aided dispatch system for the public. We will still have to put a spec together, and even though we have some preliminary pricing, that's why we're going to have to develop a spec, publicly advertise it, and then put it out to bid, and then choose our vendor that meets our requirement based on the best price.
How long does it take once an award's made to build that system, Commissioner?
They're pretty busy, and there's complications in it with both the CAD and what you want to turn on. And
I think optimistically, if once we sign a contract, we're probably talking 6 months.
Yeah.
So do we have to wait, or can we go for a special for take it out of?
Well, so what's happening now, and I was going to discuss it a little bit under my report, but we're entering a revaluation year. I know that the public had been pretty sacked when they saw their value of their homes, and their immediate thing was, oh, my taxes are going to go up, which is not always the case, right? So if everything stays the same, the mill rate should go down, and just match the valuation of your house. And again, I'm not a financial expert, but that's my understanding of how things work. But there will be some increases, right, for people, and that's just a fact. So we've been asked, that this is a year where, don't come in and be asking for a lot. And in this past year, we did get a lot, and we're very appreciative for that, even though we have more work to do. And I think the strategy that the town administration, Selectman Cosgrove, and Finance Director Finch have started to address is kind of their strategy and how that they can use surpluses from various departments in this year and fund balance to try to smooth over some of this stuff. So they had requested that we give them all capital requests, not only for the upcoming fiscal 2026 budget, but the fiscal 2027 budget, so that they can kind of see what's out there from all the departments and put the pieces of the puzzle together with the goal of the least amount of financial impact to the community, but still meets the needs of the services we provide. So that, we presented that to them. They're doing their work, and until, we really have some more guidance from them. One of the things that I understand is they might try to address some of these issues, again, out of this year's budget with monies that haven't been spent on various projects, or in our case, we were fully funded for 16 EMTs in the beginning of the year, but we didn't hire them and get them in the books until November 18th. So there's some monies like that is what they're kind of I think looking at.
Okay.
One more thing under buildings, is GGB aware of, or are they on notice that we have a lot of lights out
on the
They're
outside?
working on a solution because everything's outdated and
The fixtures are outdated?
yeah, they
Okay.
can't get replacements. So Jim Carson is working with GGD on
Okay,
that.
good. Cool, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, because we did a building in 14 today, and the same thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fixtures, yep.
Yep. EMS, I apologize, Commissioner Fox. Right?
That's all right. Well, once again, it sort of touches on finance and apparatus, because we have had 3,150 incidents from July the 1st to January 22nd of this year. And we are already at $1.4 million in revenue,
6 months, basically.
6 months, yeah, for the ambulance. So we will exceed our budget target again.
Yep.
And in addition to that, we do continue to receive all the time very positive feedback about the performance of our staff. And I don't know, Chief, if you want to talk about the crew that was recognized by
Yeah.
Yale.
Sponsor hospital.
Yeah, so we receive a newsletter every month from Yale, and they have a section there called a Great Catch, and that's when, you know, an EMS provider is out there and they find a very serious medical emergency that may be a little bit difficult to identify in the field, right? And so our paramedic, Stephanie Testa, and her partner, EMT Nick O'Rourke, were the crew, and they were recognized for the Great Catch in this year's newsletter. And to your point, it's just you know, another example of the feedback we get. And honestly, when we do get the rare unhappy customer, which, you know, we serve the public, so we do, you know, it's usually a perception issue. It's rarely a performance issue. There's almost never a patient care issue. And, you know, a lot of times it's just, you know, miscommunication, things like that. We had a recent event where we have to transport people to the hospital, and based on protocol and availability. And the place they want to go isn't always the right place to receive them. If you're having a heart attack, you want to go to a place that has a cath lab. If you're having a stroke, you want to go to a stroke center, those types of things. And clinics, a lot of people like to go to Guilford Clinic or Westbrook Clinic, are not appropriate for every emergency. It actually makes things worse because the patient would have to be transported from the clinic to the hospital because they're not the appropriate facility. And in the rare case, you know, we get we get the word that we think we're going to Yale Guilford, and then they turn around and say, no, we're not going to accept you. You have to go to, and it's after we already initiated the transport. You know, that rightly inconvenienced somebody recently, and they were upset about it. So we just made a policy change. We communicated to our people that you need to have a valid number for the caregiver or the power of attorney if you can reasonably get it, and we'll have dispatch make the notification. So, you know, this is one of the rare occasions where things might not go perfectly here.
And they are rare.
And they are.
Yes.
And the only other thing I would add is that I saw again this week that we were having a lot of diversions, which takes our staff farther away and out of town, much farther. I think it was St. Vincent's this week.
Yeah. Primarily psychiatric diversions, just because there's a very large need for that type of service and beds to accommodate, and not every facility can accept those patients. So clinics are one of those facilities. They're not equipped for that. And just, Commissioner, I want to point out, in case you didn't see it on the next page, is a comparison for the revenue from last year. We're already over at the same point to this year. So last year's actuals, you know, at the time this report was run, was you know, 1,208,000. We're at 1,253,000. We're already trending, and we did not get a rate increase this year. It was kept flat. So, you know, we're even without a rate increase,
so that's even more volume.
It's just volume.
Move on to pension communications.
Commissioner, I think I'm going to need to ask you to add item to the agenda tonight to, or not, you might want to discuss it, but the pension bylaws on the pension committee, the way that everything was set up, requires 2 commissioners to be appointed to the volunteer pension committee. So we have Commissioner Fox currently sitting on it. In the absence of Commissioner Clem, leaves a vacancy. So the board would have to appoint another commissioner to sit on that committee.
Yep. Do anybody want to take that position with Kathy
I
on it?
already have it.
I know, I know. Anybody else?
It's a very rare responsibility. You
Yeah,
have to
it's
meet
not- it's
maybe
not a
once or
heavy
twice a year,
Yeah.
and that's about it. So.
Sure, I'll do it.
All right. Commissioner Ahern?
Okay.
So we're gonna add that to the,
Jack.
need to make a motion to add to the agenda, that we want to fill the spot of,
Do you want me to
Commissioner-
make that motion?
yeah,
Okay, I will move that we fill Commissioner Clem's vacancy on the pension committee.
First, we have to make a motion to add the.
add it to the agenda.
Add to the agenda.
Add it to
That's
the
what
agenda, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yes, add it to the agenda, that's what I thought I was
Okay, yeah.
doing, yes,
All in
okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, so we've added that to the agenda to do that. And do I have a motion to add Commissioner Jack Ahern to fill that spot?
So moved.
Okay,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So voted, thank you.
Got they put out some kind of meeting notice or something on that? When
Well,
when they-
yes.
Yeah,
They
Still meet over at Town
so-
Hall with Jim and stuff? Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Good, thank you. Chief's report?
All right, so we've been, as we've discussed ad nauseum here, we're busy. 4,026 calls since July 1st. We're averaging just under 20 per day. Monday's currently the busiest day with 11 o'clock our peak hour. As we look to how we may address some of the need for additional service in the future, one of the things that Chief Kozak and I have talked about is maybe adding another ambulance part-time shift from 9 to 5, which covers the busiest time of the day. Mostly it would pay for itself because of the transports we're passing to other services right now. It would be a relatively low impact to the budget at this point. But just making you aware, that's one of the strategies that we would do to cover some of these, because we added personnel, but we didn't add necessarily more ambulances to the road. So that's just one of the things that we would look at. And since my report, we haven't had a chief's report since September. We've had the November meeting and October meeting, but we were in the process of hiring the new EMTs, which took a lot of that time. So since then, we responded to the five significant structure fires. 3 were in December, 2 in January. 2 of these instances unfortunately resulted in a fatality, and I certainly wish to express our sincere condolences to the families of those who lost their lives. In both cases, we had gotten there very quickly. We got to both these scenes in less than 4 minutes from the time we were dispatched, and we were unable to effect a rescue. It was beyond our ability to do so. So, very sad situation. And we consistently put out public safety messages, but sometimes when things like this happen, you have to say, well, what else could we possibly be doing to try to help, right, to prevent it from happening to begin with. So I had my fire marshal Rob Dobozinski and I both had the same thought pop into our heads at those 3 o'clock in the morning thoughts. And when we came in the next day, we talked about it. And at this very shortly after, the Red Cross actually reached out, because they've helped us with these situations in the past, to try to partner and collaborate with a public safety campaign within the complex, so we can try to canvass the neighborhood, offer free and voluntary inspections, and put smoke detectors up where they're necessary, and hand out other fire safety information. So that is in the works right now. Logistically, they're working out dates. We're also going to collaborate with East Shore Health on it. So it is a good collaboration, and I think it's necessary. We've done them in 525 East Main Street before, 19 Leeds Island, so we're going to do it again up here. It was a very troubling situation to have two in the same complex in such a short period of time. We haven't had a fire there and of any significance in my memory in probably the last 15 years. So it's unusual. But like I said in our social media post and our press release, that completely disconnected, two separate fires, two different causes. We're still can't say that this and this is what happened exactly, but we're very confident they were both accidental in nature. So again, my heart goes out. And I would just like to, as we mentioned before, that our ability to respond quickly to these incidents kept, for instance, the first fire in the Highland Bluff complex was extending to not only the unit next door, but the unit behind it. We got there quickly, we were able to stop the fire from doing further damage, and both those units remained habitable. It's important to get that response time, and the missing leg for us to cover that 90% of the town with the 4-minute response is the station out east. So we're going to continue with that, goal, right? And hopefully the town responds, and we have the funding in the future. So appreciate that. One of the fires that I do mention in my report was on Flat Rock Road. It's one of the more distant responses for us from headquarters, which is probably the, nines in headquarters, probably about the same response time. It was a 10-minute from the time of dispatch to get there as opposed to 4 minutes. We got there, again, in the nick of time. Fire was just going up into the, had gone into the soffits and was running the rafter in the attic. Had it got in there, we would have lost at least the attic on that portion of the house. So it was just I wanted to just highlight that to say that it's really important to have that rapid response. And again, when they say, well, how come some communities are just all volunteer? Again, it's what the community can support, and I think this community's grown to recognize that because we are such a built-up community that a fire in one person's property could rapidly affect another person's property, whereas in some of the more volunteer areas, it's just not the case. The house could, unless it's a situation where we have the dryness, probably not going to affect their neighbors. So that's my chief's report.
And that fire there, Chief, Engine 5 did not respond. That was the day after Christmas, the 26th, that morning.
Right.
And they were only within a mile away from there, and they didn't get out. So and nobody showed up, actually.
Right, and
So
again,
nothing against them, just saying, it's just the times we're in.
Yeah, and it was a daytime fire, which is the worst time for us to have the volunteers, because they all have jobs.
Volunteers, yeah.
So, all right. Chief Kozak?
Very quickly, as Commissioner Massey stated, we're in the process of interviewing part-time personnel, mostly to backfill a lot of the folks that we hired full-time, and then a couple who resigned just due to receiving full-time jobs elsewhere and didn't have the time. So we've been interviewing part-time EMTs and paramedics, and on a positive note, every time we post for a job, we get a whole bunch of people that apply. We only had the posting out for 2.5 weeks, and I think we had 18 people apply for the paramedic position. So that says a lot for the department, I think. And then other than that, we had the 16 hires, and completely different the way they get paid and so forth. So we've been working out all the details with that, and that's been going pretty smoothly. So that's where we are right now. I've been mostly doing HR type things with hiring.
Just want to make it a point to show that the fire marshals, if you see, he's got 3 reports in here. That Fire Marshal Dobinsky has, so very, very actively busy.
Yep.
So there's a lot happening.
Yeah, so Rob wanted you to see that he did highlight some of the all of what's going on. We do have the Brycer Compliance Engine, which is a software platform that reaches out to anybody who has a fire protection system in town, whether it's a sprinkler or a fire alarm, that the code requires annual or some type of scheduled servicing. So they'll actually do the notifications to the people, give them the heads up ahead of time, have them scheduled. And the idea is that by the time the fire marshal comes out to do the inspection, you've had your stuff looked at by your vendor, they've okayed it.
and that we don't have to go out there and then violate you and then wait and chase you around. So it's been good. Another large project was, we have a lot of private hydrants in town because we have a lot of condominium and other private complexes, and people don't realize that the town of Branford does not own or pay for the maintenance on those hydrants, but they are required by code for them to do it. And so we had a lot of people notified, had a lot of work done, mostly because we have this ability to do it now. It's a time saver, it's a manpower saver to have the notifications and the stuff sent out via the system. So Rob's doing a great job, and we all know his area is one area that's understaffed. He hits me up all the time. We have a vacant inspector's position. Currently, we have 5 full-time firefighters who are also doing, or officers who are also doing the deputy fire marshal work, and they're doing about 24 hours of support for him a week. But there's a lot to do, and a lot of people don't realize, he has the responsibility to inspect a lot of buildings, and then when we have fires, he has to investigate the fires and document everything. And when we have, he also handles a lot of our public education coordination and stuff. So it's a big job, and we appreciate, and he understands, we've been working on the boots on the ground for the responders. But he keeps saying, Chief, we're going to need this. We're addressing it, and I think that a good manner right now. Again, because we have so many needs, we have to prioritize.
Chief, back on the subject of fire hydrants, are all the fire hydrants in town presently operative? They're all in service?
We have a small list. The list goes out daily.
Yeah, I think there might be 1 or 2, that's it.
Yeah, so they once the Regional Water Authority becomes aware that there's a hydrant that's out of service, especially if it's a public hydrant, they're relatively quick in getting it back in service. The private hydrant's a little bit more because they have to hire a vendor and they have to probably have a board meeting to pay for it and that kind of stuff. But what happens a lot of times is, stupid. East Haven just had a thing where they're losing hydrants and someone knocks it down and they got to chase the person around. They're a little bit different. We contract with the RWA. That's what we pay that big bill for every year. So they're responsible for our maintenance and our replacement and any damage, and they will go after whoever caused the accident if they can find them. But occasionally, like we've found in some complexes, you get the snowplow operator who backs over the hydrant, snaps it at its base, and just sets it back up, and then the ground grows over it, and years go by and nobody even knows about it. So that years going by is what the inspection's trying to avoid, is finding it as quickly as we can to prevent it.
Well, I saw the outage of hydrants in East Haven, and which kind of made me think about it, because we don't talk about hydrants that often, except for the line item on our budget for water.
If you ever see one knocked over, take a snapshot and send it to the chief. That's kind of what I do all the time, because a lot of times, they're not reported, so.
There's one out of service right now that we're aware of. And to the Chief's point with the Fire Marshal's Division has been doing all the private fire hydrants in all the complexes, and they've been making sure that they've been maintained, that the associations are maintaining them. So there's been a huge improvement.
So just so that I understand fully, so the hydrants, the private hydrants in condominium complexes, those are all pressurized by RWA, correct?
Yeah, it's all connected to the same system.
Okay.
But just the private property agreements, that's their responsibility.
Say a snowplow hits it, or a landscaping truck or whatever, that's theirs. Or water, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay. Under old business, I brought it up last meeting, I know we didn't really touch upon it. I know that the police department's moved in, and which we welcome them, and we like the guys or gals in blue here. But we're gonna have a lot of wear and tear probably on our carpeting, I'm gonna say our flooring. So probably once they get done and move in, that room is gonna be, because it's gonna have a lot more than we ever had. Who's gonna take that responsibility? Because it's gonna fall under government buildings, but.
So there's been some responsibility, or some preliminary discussions with the leadership at the police department that they have plans to replace it.
Okay.
I just think.
Do we need to send a letter, from the board to?
It probably wouldn't just to document, like, the expectations. Couldn't hurt, because, as we know from the past experience, and not dealing directly with any individual, but, money
I would
runs
imagine.
out.
No, nothing
time goes
bad. I mean,
by.
no, just saying, we take pride in our building
Yeah.
here.
It may
you
even
know.
need to be painted and stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying, we may need to do some stuff,
Patrol.
that's all.
I mean, the building's been here for 12 years, and if you
Because
look
even the
around,
volunteer
just some of the
section,
walls,
that's the
it's,
patrol division,
yeah,
right?
it's probably
So we
getting
might-
to the point
function
where it
is
needs to
the
be
police
painted.
department using that space as?
That's their detective
That's
and their
admin.
everything.
Detective.
everything.
Administration,
Administration,
detective,
yeah, everything.
And then the
In the
patrols
training.
and the volunteer.
In the use of volunteer, yeah, the whole thing, yeah, so they're occupying 2 spots.
And East Haven's jail.
And they're downstairs.
Yes. And,
Yes.
In the bunk room
So-
downstairs.
and they've been very proactive in their communications. We have regular meetings when it's necessary. We don't always have the meeting if there's nothing new to report, but when there is, they get right to us. They share. They don't, they've been good neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it's okay with everyone, I just want to have something on record, just so we can do it,
That's a
because,
good idea.
I mean,
I think that's
I mean,
reasonable.
they need a spot to go, so, I mean, we're just asking if something, if we just want to, we want to keep it fresh here.
Yeah.
Right, but it
That's all.
really puts
And
more
so I'll work
stress on
with
the
the chief, and
building.
we'll formulate a letter to their commission and ask them to work together with us on it. So when we go to ask for something, that, they'll help us. I know they will.
Yep.
That's good. All right, under new business, to consider if appropriate, as long as the chief's office approves it, we'll have apparatus out of service. In MP Rice Company 2, as they always do, they want to participate in New Haven's St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is on Sunday, March 16th, 2025. So as long as we don't have apparatus out of service and the chief feels it's okay and safe, we have an approval on that, a motion,
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, anything else under new business that we don't have listed that we need to maybe add? Nothing, we already did our one?
Well, I just,
We did the pension thing, right?
we did.
We did the pension, yeah.
I still have, my pet peeve is the expansion this town's heading in, all these rental buildings going up. And I just wanted to let the public be aware, the reason why we are asking for firemen, because we are so understaffed, because you look around, we have big apartment buildings going up everywhere. I don't understand why our building department cannot put some kind of ordinance or something in, or the RTM, which they can put a moratorium on apartment buildings, 3 or more, they can stop it anytime, like we did back in the 90s when the condos came in. We put a moratorium on condos for 15 years, we stopped it. Otherwise, you'd see condos all in Branford. But I just want the public to understand, we're trying to play catch up. This department has tried to play catch up since I've been on the commission. And we're still behind, and we're gonna be behind. And I just, I don't know, do we send a letter to our building? Do we send it to Perry? I mean, just to, we gotta slow down. I mean, you look at the old movie theater. That's being
sold today.
proposed, yeah.
Just sold for today for 16.5.
It's gonna be apartment buildings.
325 East Main did.
And you're gonna have
Stop
that's gonna be a
Shop sold.
full apartment complex, okay? This is what I'm saying, it's like, the reason why we're asking for a station out east is because of traffic, because of this. So I just want the public to understand, we're trying to do this fiscal responsible, but it's very hard. We want response times, we want to give the public a good service, but again, we have to slow down sometime. We can't, and this is, I don't know what we can do as a commission to state something, to say, hey, listen, we gotta slow down. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know the politics behind it or the policy, but I don't know if this is an order that's coming from the federal government down to the state government, because I know Governor Lamont during his State of the Union said that we need another 500,000 more apartments to be built in Connecticut, just to make us where we should be. So I don't know, that's good, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but also too, but we also have zoning laws, and again, it's like, the problem is developers come in and they squeeze everything in, and maybe we should say, okay, hey, listen, let's take $500,000 out of them and put it towards the fire service, police service, because the police department's having the
They
same
have the same
issue.
problem, public
They're having the
safety.
same issue. It's public service. We're the ones that suffer, and then our tax dollars that we live in town, they go up because we got to support these services.
We could probably definitely draft a letter to the town fathers and to the planning and zoning, because that's who puts the zoning.
Well, I just want,
But I think
want
what you're identifying though is, there's not, doesn't seem to be, or perhaps there's not a policy that says that when they're considering the plans for approval, they have, part of the analysis has to be the impact on public services.
correct.
Yeah.
And then you maybe tie that to some kind of financial support for that impact.
Absolutely.
That's, I
That's
think,
what-
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what,
Yeah.
I'm bringing it on the table here,
Whether
just
we
to
should
say.
That's a really good
recommend
point,
that.
yeah.
You know, we should
That's a
get
real good
something
point. Well,
back.
let's face it, right, just down the street over here, next to Clancy's.
Yep.
There's another 244 that's been on the board and approved.
Yep,
If they're
Apartments?
developed. Yeah.
yes,
So that's what we're trying to, and if they do anything over here at the pretzel over here, behind
Yep.
Starbucks, I mean, there's another area there, but I know exactly what you're saying,
we need to
Commissioner,
wake up as a town.
Yeah.
And
And Meadow
say, you
Street,
know,
too.
enough's enough.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be able
Yeah,
to
we
drive
haven't
through
talked about
town.
that yet.
And you think we're gonna need a station out east, we're gonna need another station.
Yeah.
Because if you laugh,
Yeah.
the way
No,
we're
you're true.
going, you're
Yeah.
gonna need another station because we're not gonna have that response time.
Yeah.
And I just want, let the RTM know and the Board of Finance, we're gonna be coming. Because, you want the service,
Yep.
this, what are we gonna do? But
Okay.
anyway, I just,
Yep.
I wanted to bring it
That's
up.
a really good
Good point,
point.
yeah.
That's a really good No, point. it's a
We
good
have to
point.
think
yeah.
about how to do it.
Yeah.
Whether it would be a resolution.
I mean, maybe go
or-
to the town attorneys and figure out how, how we, and that's, when I was on the RTM, we went to the town attorney with the condos, because we were, believe me, there would be more condos in this town if we
Yeah.
didn't stop it. So, it was unanimously, both sides of the aisle, we said, listen, this is our town, this is not a political thing, we gotta stop this, and we did it. So, I think we should look into
Oh,
this
absolutely,
again, to try to stop these apartment buildings from going up.
All right, well, I'll report back next meeting. I'll take that
Thank
on
you.
my arm and do that.
Yeah, thanks.
The chief. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody realizes the impact, and I don't
No.
think when planning and zoning is looking at something that gets in front of them, it's like, what's the impact gonna do to the services? you
Yeah,
know?
and that's,
We're
That's-
very-
that's the missing piece.
Fire and police are taxed enough, and,
yeah.
no, so, yeah, good point. Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll look for an adjournment at 6:05.
Motion to adjourn?
In
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Good point.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.